with all of you. Thank you for coming. And yeah, I like that. Go vegan. Slide that in there because really that's what it's all about for us at Herbivore. We, I always say I don't really care what people call themselves as long as they don't eat animals. So whether you're plant-based or you're vegan, doesn't really matter to me. Let's just not eat animals and let's eat delicious food. So let's do it. So this book is called Eat Like You Give a Damn, and my husband Josh and I wrote it, and it was published in 2015, which seems impossible that it was that long ago, but indeed it's true. I love this book. It's one of the most, I always joke it's like my second baby because my first baby is 16 years old and she's in her bedroom right now with our dog. You might hear some barking. But this book is really it's based on what we wanted, what we wished we had had, or what we wished that my husband had had when he first went vegan in 1999. He wasn't an experienced cook. He loved to eat. He didn't know really how to make food for himself. And he was a new vegan and a little bit unsure about how to talk about it amongst friends and family, and went through a lot of those very common, early vegan years kinds of challenges. And so that's what this book is. It's friendly, it's warm, it's inviting, it's accessible for people, hopefully at all different economic levels and geographic locations. But most of all, it's delicious food, kind of served up with a little bit of humor, our personalities, and, just food that's not going to hurt animals or the planet. So you can get the book at our website. It's herbivoreclothing.com. You can also get it at lots of bookstores all over the world, and of course on the website that I will not name, but it's available there too. So the corned bean burgers are the recipe that we decided to do for the demo today. And before we started recording, we were kind of all chatting about corned beef, chipped beef, and it kind of turns my stomach a little bit thinking about it. But when I was a kid, my mom would always eat corned beef, and I can still see this can. I think it had a white label with red letters on it, and that was something that my parents would eat, and then therefore they would feed it to me. And when we were writing the book, we're looking for different kinds of recipes that were, like I said, from things when we first went vegan. It's like I didn't eat, tofu scramble before I was vegan, and now I eat tofu scramble all the time. So, the recipe that we have for that in the book doesn't have tons of vegetables in it. It's just tofu, as much like an egg as I can get it, which is pretty darn close. It's a really great scramble. So that was the idea, I think, pretty much behind this recipe, because growing up and eating corned beef, I'm like, what the heck is corning anyways? And so researched that, and it's, a big process that people do with animal parts, but it's really, as it always is with food, it's really all about the spices. And this recipe has probably more spices in it than any other recipe in the book. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's got a lot, like 10 or 12 different spices, but that's how you get a really flavorful bean burger. And so I learned how to, I researched all of that and created this flavor using beans. So getting a weird beep. Are you guys still able to see the?
Yeah, I was just going to say we have lost the other camera.
Oh, Josh, I'm going to see if I can get my technology department. Maybe we need a charger. Did it die? Did my phone die? Oh, maybe, is it back now?
It's back. It's back.
I think I was getting a phone call. Sorry. Probably my mother, honestly. So this recipe it's so easy, and I'm really excited because this is what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. So this is also a really great bean burger to serve at barbecues because it holds together really, really well. The ingredients are really simple. There's hardly any besides the spices, and it forms a really a good sticky burger that holds up well to a grill, also holds up great into a pan. It's about 100 degrees in Portland today, so I am not going to be going outside. But the other components besides the burger are, of course, delicious sauces and condiments. So I've got sauerkraut here that goes on the burger. And then I also make a smoky Thousand Island dressing. And I'm going to start by making that. And it is very simple. My brother's favorite salad dressing when I was a kid was Thousand Island. Not mine. I was kind of wigged out by the mixture of ketchup and mayonnaise back then, but now I realize how delicious it actually is. So we're going to start by making the smoky Thousand Island dressing. And I use Vegenaise vegan mayonnaise. It is my most favorite one, and I buy a big giant container of it, and then I put it into a reusable glass container that from buying delicious pickled vegetables at Fermenter, which is a local restaurant. So the dressing calls for a half a cup of vegan mayonnaise. So I'm just gonna eyeball it because I make this kind of stuff a lot now. And so I got that in there. And then I need 2 tablespoons of sweet pickle relish. And I just have 2 tablespoons of chopped sweet pickles here. So I am gonna add those into my bowl. This is so great that you guys can see what I'm doing. I love it. And then I have 2 tablespoons of ketchup. This is homemade ketchup because I love to make my own. It is a great way to reduce waste because I don't buy lots of plastic ketchup bottles, and I can also control what's in it. And this one is made with balsamic vinegar and maple syrup, so it's going to be an extra tasty Thousand Island. So I'm going to just put 2 tablespoons of ketchup in there, and then a teaspoon of prepared horseradish. This is, which way am I going here? Yeah, Bubby's, which is the same brand as my sauerkraut. This is a prepared horseradish, and I am going to open this, and I just need 1 teaspoon, but I need to stir it up. And oh, this is one of those things that really makes this meal super authentic because horseradish is not a very common ingredient. I know you can buy actual horseradishes, but I never have. So there is about my teaspoon of horseradish. And put that down. And then I need a teaspoon of liquid smoke. And liquid smoke is super amazing. You can make wonderful different veggie bacons and very smoky cheeses. And it's a natural thing. It's not a chemical flavor at all. It is made kind of like distilled, the way that distilled water is made. So it is not a horrible ingredient to use. So you just can put about a teaspoon of your liquid smoke in there. That's the dressing. Super easy. And if you liked Thousand Island on your salad when you were a kid or right now you know how to make Thousand Island dressing. So we've got that ready to rock. And I'm gonna set it over here to the side. Okay, so let's make our burgers. Okay, I've already chopped up my onion, and I had a red one. I had a half an onion left, so I'm gonna put my onion in my Cuisinart, but I'm going to move my Cuisinart so that you can see it. Let's see. I can do this. Hang on. Let's do it. Okay, there. All right, so now I gotta find my book again. Because even though you write the book, it does not mean that you know all the recipes by heart at all. Okay, so 1 cup of onion, and you don't have to chop it finely. This is just coarsely chopped. And just plop it right in there because the Cuisinart's going to do most of the dirty work for you. And then a can of beans, and these are just organic canned beans. Another thing that makes this recipe so simple, and I just rinsed them and set them aside. So there's that. And then I need a 1/2 cup of old-fashioned oats. We eat so many oats in this house. It's kind of nuts. Okay, so a heaping cup of this. This is one of the 2 things in there that are your binder. So I said heaping, so that's heaping, right? So the oats are gonna act as a binder, and so is the flax. So I use all these jars. This is perfect for the climate reality cooking demo, right? We sell lots of fun jars at our store and cool different lids for reusing too, if you ever need that kind of stuff. So then 2 tablespoons of flax meal. That's gonna be your other good binder, okay? So I'm putting those in there. And that, oh, I gotta add all the spices. Here we go. Okay, 1 teaspoon of garlic granules or 2 cloves. Totally lazy today, and I already did the garlic in that bowl. So I put that in there. And then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. So just gonna grind it. Sorry, sometimes I sing and I have a really bad voice, but I don't really care. Life is more fun when you don't give a hoot. Okay, a 1/4 teaspoon of powdered mustard. Okay, here it is. Here's my mustard, my little ground mustard, a 1/4 teaspoon. These are my researched to be authentic corned bean, no beef. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. All right, pop that in there. And I'm gonna take the moment to close these so that I don't knock them over. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, which is such a lovely fragrance. I love the smell of allspice. And there's that. And okay, we're gonna keep going. A 1/4 teaspoon of, it's out of order, coriander. We need to go get more coriander. All right. And then just a pinch of cinnamon. I know, right? Cinnamon and a savory, but that is what makes it, all those little tiny things really make a difference. And then a pinch of cloves. It's kind of like when you put salt in sweet things, it makes it taste sweeter. So I guess this makes it taste savorier, I don't know. And then I need a tablespoon of tamari. And I have Bragg's liquid aminos because that's more affordable. And I, boom, put that in there. So that's it for the burgers. So simple. And this recipe is also really adaptable if you are that kind of cook. Say you don't want to do this whole corned bean thing. You want to just make it have like a Tex-Mex or Southwest flavors. Put cumin and garlic and some tomato in there. You know, you can, it's really, really flexible. So, okay, I've got all my ingredients and now I'm gonna just blitz it in my Cuisinart. So I've got this and it says pulse 10 to 15 times. So I'm gonna do that. So it's gonna make a little sound, a little noise. Hopefully 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I don't know who wrote this recipe, but it needs more than 15 times. No, I'm just kidding. It needs more than 15 times, but it smells amazing. But as you can see, like, it's not, it's still kind of crumbly. It's not holding together. What you want is for it to really stick together, and the onion is still too big and everything is still a little bit too large in there. So I need to go a little further on my blitzing. Kind of got to stop every now and again and scrape it down. If you don't have a Cuisinart, you could use a blender, and you just have to be very careful to make sure that you stop and like really mix it so that the bottom of the blender doesn't get too mushed and that the top then gets nothing. But it really does make it easier to do this kind of stuff with a Cuisinart. It still needs a couple more, so I gotta, okay, I think like just a few more. Okay, there we go. That looks perfect because you can see, well, just pick it up. It just holds together, you know, you can make meatballs, you can do whatever you want. So now we're gonna make the burgers. And, excuse me, all right. So I've got...
Michelle, can you just take another sample and bring it closer to the camera for everyone to see?
Yeah,
Maybe the one that's closer to the food one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so see how it's, you can see it pretty good that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then here is that's the texture that you're looking for. So the beans and the oats, everything is all mushed up and it really holds together. It holds together very well. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take the blade out and just set that aside. And got another bowl. And I'm just going to put it all in here so that it's easier to work with. I think this makes 4 or 6 burgers. I'm going to have to look. It makes 4. So let's think, I think that if it's still there, you can see it. But what I always do is just, I'm kind of making a little extra dirty dishes. I didn't need to do that. But just, I made it all into a big ball. Here we go. So you can really see it here. So this is all the world's most giant bean ball right here. And then I just cut it in 4. So there's 2. And then I just cut that in half again. And that's how I get, it's just so easy. And I just make them into a little patty. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious. I hope that you all like these when you make them for everybody. This one's a little bit different size. So just make your patties. And it's it's nice because it's actually not too sticky. Like, sometimes you make things and they are so sticky that you need to wet your hands. That's a great way if you are making food that's super sticky, like burgers and stuff like that. Just wet your hands. You don't have to use oil. You could just use water and then it won't stick as badly to your hands. So that's a good tip. So then I've got got these 4 burgers. This is such a quick, a little bit of sprouted onion. We don't want that in there. Okay, so I've got 4 burgers ready to roll. And hey, Josh, do you want to help me get the camera over to the oven or to the stove? So we have time, I guess. I'm just going to go ahead and cook these up because why not?
So while we are adjusting that, like there's just this one question I always ask all our chefs. So
Yeah.
what's your go-to vegan restaurant in Portland?
Oh my gosh. That is tough. Let's see. It's been really crazy during the pandemic. We have hardly gotten food from anywhere because we've just really kind of stayed home, and our store was closed for a long time. So we kind of really shrank our lives. But I can give you like my top few. I'll do that. And then I will also say on our Instagram, which is at Herbivore Clothing, we have a dining guide for Portland, and we've refreshed it just in the past couple of weeks, or made it, you know, we have a new version. So if you're ever visiting Portland, it has everything listed out by neighborhood. So you should check that out. But my top restaurants are the Sudra, which is vegan Indian food. Fermenter, which is all fermented foods made from everything organic produce and foods grown within 100 miles of Portland, which is kind of crazy. It's amazingly delicious food. When I need a good sandwich, I go to Dinger's Deli. So good. That was the first meal I had after like 8 months during the pandemic of not eating out. So that was really exciting. So those are some of my favorites. And going into restaurants anymore, I don't know. I haven't done that yet. But the beautiful thing about Portland is that there's so many all vegan restaurants. And then there are so many great places that have options for people that are omnivores and people that are vegan. And it's a welcoming environment to everybody, which I think is super important. Like, for example, when my parents are here, they are not vegan. They don't want to be. So I can take them somewhere, they can eat, and then I can have whatever I want. But we also do take them to places like Veggie Grill because they love that kind of stuff. So longer answer than you bargained for. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go over to the other camera, and I gotta heat my pan up, so I'm just gonna turn that heat on real quick, and let that heat up. I should have done that. I'm gonna put just a small bit of olive oil in the pan, and this is actually grapeseed oil. And then I am, whoops, I don't have any of my little silicone spatulas or brushes. I use these little silicone brushes usually to smush the oil around instead of using a spray bottle, but I think they're all in the dishwasher. So I'm gonna let that heat up, and then we'll cook these guys. So does anybody else have any other questions or anything like that? Do you guys ever do that? Otherwise I can start talking about something else. I don't know.
So another question I generally ask people is like, what was your motivation to go vegan? Like, was there something specific that happened that motivated you to go vegan? Sometimes it's climate, sometimes it's animal rights, or sometimes they just wanted to try it.
Yeah, for me, it was animals. And I've been vegan for about 20 years now. And so it was definitely animals at the beginning, coupled with just shock at the health implications and the environmental implications. I read the book Diet for a New America. So that, that's an older book now, but it really laid out in really explicit but layman's terms all of the realities of the animal agriculture industry and health implications of eating animals, and then it touched a little bit on the environment. And so I have always been, mostly for the animals vegan type of person. But having been vegan for 20 years, it's like such a different world now, especially with the advent and popularity of eating plant-based. And I just read something the other day in a book that we sell called like Vegan Voices, and it's voices of vegans of color. And it talked about how using the term plant-based is really speciesist, because you are you're only sort of you're plant-based, and so you're just focusing on eating or not eating the animals that are raised for food, but you're not thinking about the other implications of veganism, like animals in entertainment, animals for clothing, and things like that. And that concept really like resonated with me as another reason why I like to use the word vegan, because it does have all of those other reasons. So yeah, now I'm vegan for all of those reasons. Animals, humans, everything, the workers that pick our food. I would definitely not want to be out picking cherries right now in Washington or Oregon, because it's hot, and same in California. So I like to think about these things, and it makes it kind of heavy sometimes, but you can temper that with some good food, I guess. So let's cook these burgers. Okay, we're gonna go back over here, and the pan is now smoking, and I'm probably gonna have
Can you adjust the second camera? It's off again.
Oh, the camera. Low power mode. Okay, there we go. Got it? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna cook these. Hopefully it's showing. Yes, it is. All right. And hopefully our smoke alarm won't go off because I talked too long. Josh, you might want to wave something from that thing. Okay. So these just need to cook for a few minutes on each side. They are really easy. We got to do some preventive measure on the smoke alarm over there. So as you can see, they are really sturdy. And if you refrigerate them for a little while, they will get even more, they'll kind of firm up even more. The flax and the oats do a really great job of that. So I just need to let those cook for a few minutes and stop messing with them. It's hard to do that. But I also, I think it's going to be okay with the smoke. I hope. So, and you can, I used red beans on these. You can use, I figured red beans went better with the sauerkraut and everything like that I use on the, to dress these. But you could easily use garbanzos or, and really any other bean. But red beans are nice and meaty, so they are good to use. Sorry, my angle's weird here. There we go. I love cooking in cast iron because it's a great way to get a little bit of iron in your diet too, if you are ever concerned about that. And it gives everything a really nice sear. So these are going to be done in just a minute. They're super easy. I like things I like my toast brown, and I like my burgers to be super cooked. So they're gonna just cook for another minute in there. And then hopefully when y'all make this for the people at the shelter, folks will be able to decide if they want sauerkraut. I'm not sure how you do that. If you provide the condiments, like, you know, for them to serve themselves, or if you put it all on there first, it might get a little soggy if you put it together before you know, and then have them sit around for a while. I would not do that, just so that folks can really enjoy the burger at its best. Okay. I think these are looking pretty good. So I am going to grab one, and then I can bring it back over here, and we can plate it. So let's see if I can do this without interrupting. Can you see it there? If you change it back, yeah, perfect. Yes. All right. Okay, so I've got whole wheat buns, because that's how I roll. It's all good. And then just put some of this. I like a lot of sauce. I am a saucy person. So I will put some on both sides. It is really good barbecue food. If I had corn on the cob, I would be having that with it. And I put my patty right there. And then I got sauerkraut. Drain that. Just kind of press that. Put that on there. Oh my God, this looks good. And then just because I can, put a little extra ketchup. And I've got a gorgeous burger. Look at that. Let's see if I can hold it up so you can all see. It's a delicious corned bean burger. All right. Now I really want to eat some of this, but I won't do that. Do they do a bite and smile? Should I do a bite and smile? But this is such an easy recipe. I mean, look, it's bare. I mean, I made that take a long time. I feel like it's easily 30-minute dinner, maybe even less. So I hope that you guys all really enjoy these. I love, this is super fun. Thank you for asking me to be here today and to share this recipe. You can get our book on our website. I know that they shared this recipe with everybody so that you could all make it for the shelter. And I hope that you guys all like it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So you mentioned you could also use this for grilling, right? So is there anything specific changes we need to make to grill, or be careful while we grill it, because it's going to be a bit different than what you did on the pan, right?
I would, if I was going to grill it, I would definitely like stick it in the fridge for a while so it can really firm up. Okay. And then, but really, you know, and then you're going to need to oil your grates and stuff like that. And then just don't make it too hot, and have a really good thin spatula, a good thin metal spatula, so that you can get underneath it and get it, once it gets a good sear on it. You might even put a little bit of oil on the outside of the burger so that it won't stick. And then put it on there, let it get a good sear, and then use your thin spatula to flip it around. So that's what I would do. Does anybody else have any other questions? Cool. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. I'm very honored and appreciate everybody spending some time with me today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Looks so good.
Oh, thanks. Bye, you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Just before that, so with this, we always have a volunteer opportunity associated with this. So if you all love the recipe that we have prepared today, then this Saturday, June 26th, we'll be making the same dish. We'll be making about 40 to 50 corned bean burgers for a homeless shelter called as Clark Center. So if you're interested in volunteering, please register yourself on the link that I'll be dropping in the chat right now. Here is the sign up genius. Please, please, please do volunteer and help us make bean burgers for the homeless community. So with that, thank you everyone. Thank you once again for joining us on our 7th Cook and Serve, the International Yoga Day, and summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, have a good rest of your evening. Bye.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.